got a lot of paper here, but you're not going to hear much. It's a pleasure to be here, believe me, and I'm just tickled pink that I lived long enough to see it, and I'm delighted to see a lot of it still standing. Today we are honoring the greatest generation of men and women who wore the uniform in War II from Oregon. First, we should acknowledge those that made this happen. The Oregon legislature in 2011 passed legislation honoring the 153,000 Oregonians who served during World War II. The Oregon World War II Memorial Foundation and its board and its committees, and I mean their hard-working committees, and all the great people who helped them raise the money. It was $1.25 million. They did the heavy lifting. They did the grunt work, if you will. Two individuals that really stand out in my thinking that made this happen, I'm going to introduce both of them. Lou Jaffe, who's the founder and president of the organization. He was a U.S. Army veteran from Vietnam, and Jim Willis, the former director of the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs, U.S. Air Force, Vietnam. Would you two please stand? Thank you. This, our World War II memorial, dedicated to the memory of Oregonians who wore the uniform in War II, and in particular the 3,771 Oregonians who paid the full price. They did not come home. And their names are engraved in marble on this great memorial, mindful that they paid the supreme price for our liberty. In closing, the letter that I'm going to read to you has to do with D-Day, Europe, 70 years back. However, I am mindful of the war was going on in the Pacific at the same time, and we certainly needed both victories, or your grandkids would be learning English as a second language. Now, I did not fly on D-Day. However, I'll say this. My dad was a reserve officer, and he was a colonel, and he was had a battalion landed that day. In a moment, I'm going to read you a letter that says it all. The Supreme Allied Commander of Europe in World War II was, of course, General Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he had stirring words for the men and women of his Normandy invasion. After he gave the order, "We go," that was probably 2 days ahead of D-Day. Where am I here? All participants in the June 6, 1944 offensive received a copy of his call for nothing less than full victory. All 163,000, theoretically anyway, received this letter. And the letter, it says, "Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of Allied Expeditionary Force, you're about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we strive these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, elimination of the Nazi tyranny of the oppressed people of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well trained, well equipped, and battle hardened. He will fight savagely, but this is the year 1944. Much happened since the Nazi triumphs of the 40 and 41 years. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats. In open battle, man to man, our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. And our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. Free men of the world are marching toward victory. I have full confidence in your courage, your devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us beseech the blessing of the Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking. Thank you.